Hello, hi folks, and welcome to this AMA, Ask Me Anything. My name's Djinnx. I'm just going to kind of hang out and answer some questions. Hi Shaker, hi Blue, thanks for joining. Hey, what's up Amanda? Hello, hello. Yeah, so a couple things we're quick chatting we're talking about here. Some things on Kick. Let me know if that music is too loud also. I can turn it down just a wee bit to, maybe I'll turn down just a wee bit so you can better hear me. There we go. Yeah, so Blue, I chatted, I put a little chat in there, but I like talking more than I like typing. So for me, I was a Christian for 28 years. I grew up in a Christian household, and then oh goodness, so many years ago, actually 10 years ago. Goodness, that was a long time ago. I found my way out of religion, if you will. I started to kind of investigate. I went down the dark side of YouTube, to be honest with you. I started learning about ancient aliens and all these kind of things, and though it was an experience and something that kind of helped me figure out the importance of evidence on my side, if you will. I learned a lot, and some of the questions that were being asked to me were actually about religion, and so I ended up kind of investigating more and kind of looking through, and found myself really kind of questioning and trying to find more answers. And so I've read the Bible a couple of times. I've read the American Standard, the New International, NIV, and then of course the King James, just to kind of get a sense, and that's all the way through. I don't mean like I've read a couple passages in here and there. I mean I actually read it from start to finish. Oh, I can hear myself. That's weird. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So that's one of the things that I did. So let me boost this chat. I can't see. I'm old, and so I can't see the chat. There we go. All right. Cool. Oh, so we're talking a little bit about Kick. I'm curious myself with Kick. That's a lot of folks switching over to Kick. You're very welcome. What made me convert to atheism, Blue? So that great question. So kind of like I was just chatting just a second ago, it was really kind of exploration, to be honest with you. I never really was asked some of those kind of those harder questions. You know what I mean? Like I would get kind of the surface level, and then I would be okay with saying it was God or God's plan or anything like that. And so it wasn't until I started kind of watching some of these YouTube videos from the Atheist community of Austin, the ACA, and a few other various different people that were kind of chatting about it, and really kind of challenging my knowledge. And as a good Christian, I wanted to make sure that I had answers for my reasons, right? Other than just the simple word faith. And so I ended up going down the route where I kept asking questions. I kept asking why and how do we know this, and tried to find more information. I tried to find, honestly, a really good, reasonable way to determine fact from fiction. That was probably the biggest step for me in my path to atheism, if you will. So that's, like I said, that kind of helped figuring out how do I determine fact from fiction, and whether or not I have any kind of like biases, or run into any logical fallacies. Things like, if this is what I say, if I were to put this kind of the same thing of like, well, I have faith that it's my God. If I were to say I believed in, say I was Hindi or maybe Muslim, that like would that like it would be appropriate over there as well, and you wouldn't be able to tell the difference if you use faith as an example, as a means to try to determine is your method, if you will, right? If you use faith can take you anywhere. You can say anything with faith. I can say I have faith that this chair is going to hold me up. I have faith that I'm going to make a bunch of money. It doesn't necessarily mean it's true, right? And it's also can lead to false answers. And so because it's kind of ambiguous, I started to wane on my faith, if you will. Hey, what's up, Lamone? Oh, what's up, Whip? Hey. Oh man, now I gotta start mapping everybody to like the Twitch and then the Echo and over to the YouTubes. Hello, how's your day? And also, thanks, Blue, for that question. I really do appreciate it. If you want more, by all means, feel free. Ask away. I feel like I'm like tilting sideways. Am I now? I don't know. Let's see. Min, I see here you've got a question. So you think that the point is critical thinking is to discard what doesn't make sense and follow the evidence, like chemtrails, and keep questioning, chemtrails and what the bounds of science. Exactly. That's exactly. Hey, thanks, Blue. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. And again, thanks for your question. I really, really do appreciate you coming in and checking out, what I'm doing here. I just want to kind of chat with folks, give an opportunity for people to ask questions. I have, like I said, been an atheist for a while now. I started a podcast back in the day, over 10 years now. so I did that. That kind of follows my deconversion, if you will. The first that you can find it on YouTube. I'm pretty sure it's on the channel. You just look for ProphetCast. That was the name of my show. We also did the Thought Prophets for a little while. So yeah, that's kind of where I found myself in. I was doing a podcast as I was learning more, and you'll see various bits of emotion throughout that podcast, and a change in quality, if you will, of overall production value. You'll see that in the very beginning, like probably the first maybe 10 episodes are rough in terms of our video quality, and mostly me. I'm loud. I had microphones before so that you could hear me, because I like talking on microphones. But my camera was on a standing desk, and I have ADHD, and I move a lot, and so the camera would like shake often. It was awful. Any other streamers anybody shout out? Yes. Is there anybody else? I definitely want to get some shout outs. Spread the love for those that are in this streaming online world. It's definitely one of the things that I have started myself diving into. So, and I want to make this more of a thing. I like being in entertainment. I like being in front of the camera. Love talking in front of the microphone. And I like chatting with folks. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to do this AMA specifically about religion, because it's an important factor. It plays into a lot of our lives, and it played into mine heavily. And so I figured I'll give an opportunity here for folks to ask questions. Good. I'm glad to hear it's going well. Also, I know, what am I doing so early? I know, right? Silly me. Wait, what's early? I always forget what time it is over there, Shaker. Let's see. Wait. It can't be that early, right? Because you guys, no, I guess it is, right? Because right around 10 or 11 is when folks from Australia get on, and the EU get on for Echo Combat, right? This is the normal Echo Combat time. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, if you're another streamer, by all means, let us know. Love to promote you and share the love. And again, if you guys have any questions, anything at all, feel free asking about atheism, about religion, deconversion, about Echo. Definitely, Whip. Love it. 7 p.m. Jeez, that's wild time difference. So no, everything's. By the way, everything's relevant. So that is a great question. I have been looking at. I mean, a lot of people have been playing Breachers. I'm a big MMO fan, and so I've kind of playing a little bit of Zenith, kind of getting that world, but I find myself getting dizzy a little more when I play that game. Beyond that, I don't know, Hex maybe? Hex and AA, or A2, if you will. A2, AA. I see why they didn't call it AA. That's funny. Those two look like, the Echo replacements, if I'm looking at Echo replacement. But here's the thing. This is the thing that kind of gets me, is quick, if you will. Obviously not about necessarily religion. And if you have a religious question, by all means, please feel free to jump on in and ask. I'm happy to answer. But Echo not only filled the void of community, camaraderie, and that kind of thing, but it also filled the void of exercise. I'm not a huge fan of exercising myself. And so I use that really heavily as a means to exercise, and it really helped me a lot. And now that I don't really have that, and I'm not going to have that, I need to find something else that's similar. And that's been the biggest challenge I've been finding. I could do like Beat Saber, I could do things that like make me sweat, if you will, right? But not like Echo. Like Echo is super fun while we played. So I'm not really sure exactly. Maybe Breachers. I've been playing a little more like Diablo 4 and some console-based games in terms of non VR, but outside of that, I don't really know. I'm not really sure. I might play Population 1 or something. I don't know, something. What about you? What about you, Whip? What are you doing? What games are on your agenda, or do you have that you're currently playing? I'm just not really sure with VR. There's so many options, but I really want to play a community game. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna grab my water too. I got it. Hi, folks. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining. Feel free, if you have any questions, by all means, ask away. Outside of that, how's everybody's weekend? Not weekend. How's everybody's week? Excuse me. How was your weekend? Or what are you looking forward to this upcoming weekend? I suppose in 2 days. Boy, time is, a construct that's built by humans, anyways. Yes. Yep. So. Anyways, in terms of, like I said, I suppose, I'm going to be playing the same song. I'm going to pick a new one. Let's pick Lo-Fi Geek, that one, sure. That's the one. Shaker, you are doing VRML games. Do Snapshot Breachers? See, Breachers always comes up when talking about what's next after Echo. It's so funny. It seems like there's a big community over there, over on Breachers. Is that what you're finding, Shaker? Lemon, have you? Well, good. Oh, your last day of 8th grade? Right on. Oh, man, you're going to be a freshman? Yeah, that's exciting. Oh, that's super exciting. How are you feeling about high school? How are you feeling about moving forward, if you will, into the more young adult-like world? Super curious. That's so exciting. Today, really? It feels so late. We're almost in July. Gods of Gravity. Oh, man, I was looking at that too. Yeah, the A2 game. So, what do you like about Gods of Gravity? I'm curious. What draws you to that game? What's the interest there? I was looking at that game too, interestingly enough. Yeah, Blue, that is super sweet. If you mind me asking, Blue, are you by chance someone who's religious? Are you a follower of faith, or do you find yourself more someone who doesn't believe? Are you not really sure? Just kind of curious. Oh, you're not from the U.S. Oh, right. Well, hi. Where are you from, if you don't mind me asking? Yeah, don't dox yourself, by all means. You could maybe just the continent, or even that might work. I don't want to pull too much details out of folks, right? Some other Echo placements. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, yeah. I hope that they put up some more stuff. Oh, right on. All right, so you got the Atheist card as well. Cool. What was, if you don't mind me asking the two, what you're being that you are a lot younger than me, way younger than me. What led you, if you will, to what led you into atheism, or is this just kind of how it's always been? Canada, eh? All right, fair enough. Have you always felt, did you grow up in a non-religious household? I'm just curious myself. Yeah, it's a huge country, right? One might argue the other half of the continent on over here, but you know. Oh man, oops! I'm just gonna slam into my desk setup here. Don't mind me. Make a bunch of noise. Yeah, it is a big country. It is indeed. But yeah, I'm curious. How about anybody else too? If you guys have any questions, anything that you are curious to ask someone who's happy to relay some information. I've had a ton of conversations too before about religion. So this is not my first opportunity, if you will, a chance. Even though it's my first live stream specifically with the AMA about atheism, it's not my first rodeo in terms of this. I did Periscope way back in the day when it was really popular, and that was really, really fun. I really enjoyed doing Periscope. I had a ton of viewers. I had a ton of people that were chatting, asking questions. We were all learning. It was super fun. I really, really enjoyed it, and so I was encouraged to do this AMA today so that I kind of do the same kind of thing, you know what I mean? Kind of get in that world, give you the opportunity to ask questions for those who have questions. Maybe you're religious, maybe you're not. Maybe you want to know more, or you just want to know that you're not alone in the community. That was one thing that got me through, and that was really helpful. Is that I felt, being that I was deconverted or deconverting, and a lot of my family and friends were not. The people around me surrounded were still very heavily Christian. It was really hard when not having a community there to talk with, to know. And I felt very much alone for a while. I was lucky in not the sense of like full on aloneness, like my family, my immediate family, wife and things were right here, and my close friends were right there to kind of chat and work through it with me. But nonetheless, given where we are, where I live, we're surrounded by a lot of folks that are heavily influenced by religion. So yeah. So I'm, like I said, not my first rodeo. Love doing this. I love asking questions. I love seeing what's going on. Like I said, love trying to help if I can answer anything or help clarify or give others. I'm happy to direct you to some other folks that helped me, some information that helped me, books, things of that nature. One person I'll call out right now who I think is absolutely fantastic. I absolutely love this dude. He's super, super cool. I had him on my podcast and I interviewed with him. His name's Anthony Magnabosco. Hell of a last name. But Anthony Magnabosco, he does this thing called street epistemology. And that was originally picked up by Peter Boghossian, I think is his last name, Peter B. But Anthony, if you take a look for him, it's called Street Epistemology. You can find him on TikTok, or if you just look up Anthony Magnabosco, he's got a YouTube channel as well. Maybe I'll put a link in the description after this video. But He's fantastic. He goes out and actually he tries to go through the street epistemology method, where basically you just ask questions with there's no gotchas, there's no traps. It's just a genuine conversation about how do you know what you know, and what method do you use to determine fact from fiction. Kind of like I was talking about in the beginning. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Oh, fair. Like, okay, so how you're raised, that's cool. Okay, so you're raised in kind of an atheist household, that's cool. And you just like ask questions about universe, solid. Love that. Oh, the whole defense on defense and offense, interesting. So you're interested more in that the kind of strategy aspect of how gods of gravity work. Interesting. I like that. Is what got into Echo VR. All right, I can answer that one. I can answer that too. Cool. Awesome, Blue. That's dope. Space Galaxy thing. What is Space Galaxy? What are you talking about? Tell me more. Big question. What got me into Echo VR and VRML? I got into Echo because I got a headset. I'm a huge nerd. I'm a big fan. Hi, Kate. How's it going? How's your day? I'm a big fan of technology. As a software engineer, director of engineering now. It's just in my nature. I really like fun gadgets and stuff, and so I ended up getting some headsets, and I downloaded Echo and I played it for a little bit, I played it for a bit, should I say, and then from there I set it down, and it was probably maybe a year, 6 months later, something like that, before I picked it back up and was like, oh yeah, this game's really fun. I kind of want to float in zero G and throw around a disc that was pretty cool. I forgot how much how entertaining just that kind of basic concept was. And one thing led to another. I started meeting a few people over and over again. I started playing with the same folks, and we started a team, which you now know as the Beholders, in season 4. So I started that team in season 4, and then from there I really enjoyed so much like the community and what we were doing in the game that I ended up getting into VRML so I could talk on the microphone, because I love talking on microphones. So I could talk on the microphone and doing that announcements. I really enjoy that. Super fun. And then I got to meet a whole bunch, and then again, it just continued from there. I kept meeting great people like Whip, for example, which Whip, I got me with Whip in a picture that shows up on my Google Home that kind of like flashes through when I met her at in Illinois over at the tournament, the NEPA tournament. And so honestly, it was the people that really kept me going. I loved, like, when I got casted, by Palador and Luke and a number of other folks, the one you see, and just to seeing the excitement and how it made me feel when I was being casted is what I wanted to continue doing. So, ooh, interesting biome idea. Use rockets in flight. That sounds terrifying too, because if there's rockets explode. That's what Wood I learned from Woody. Yeah. No, like I said, that was really fun, and that's what kind of got me into VRML, and Echo was just a fluke, really. It was just a fun game to play, and then I just kept meeting more and more people. And I enjoyed the community, which is also again what kind of led me into this world of what's interesting too about those who are non-religious. If I'll swing it back to the topic here. There's from when I started 10 years ago, the community was really small, and we were often we still are, but much less so now, but chastised and harassed for the fact that we didn't believe the same things as others, or if you will, if we started asking questions, usually it would take about 3 questions, just 3. I'd get 3 questions deep before the tone of the conversation changed, and that and it's not like they weren't. I don't try to take a mean approach. For those of you know who I am. I try my best to stay, in a neutral position, and if not positive, to try to encourage conversation. Sometimes that doesn't work out so well, so it makes it difficult. So I kind of like the AMA things here. Pick another song. How about Overthinking? Yeah. Anyways, that's make sure you guys can hear that music. This one's kind of quiet. I'll turn it up just a little bit. There we go. So, like I said, there was kind of a small community before, and we kind of just built it. Started to get bigger and bigger, and I got to meet some cool people also in the atheist community as well, which was one of those things that I really enjoyed. Streamlabs, there we go. Come on back over. Whoop. Okay, now I can see. I don't really need this chat open over here because I got it right here. Anyways, so what kind of questions, what other questions you guys got for me? What other questions, or do you have any questions yourselves? Or like I said, do you have yourself, do you have a kind of a coming out story of what, like, if you're in the same realm or if you still are a believer? I'm curious, what has you cemented in your belief, or what has you currently believing what it is you believe? I think these kind of questions are really kind of fun to have a conversation about. It can be very difficult. And so when I say fun, I don't mean the sense of like, we're here to poke fun and beat people down. It's more like, try to have that open dialogue. I think that it's important to have that open dialogue. I don't think a lot of people get the opportunity to have it, and don't necessarily always have the same opportunity to have such like an open discussion without any feelings getting in the way. You know what I mean? Great question, Min. That is an absolutely great question. So Min asks, how did my family respond to my journey? So, my family still are still Christian. My mom, dad, sister, little brother, they all still are Christian. When I first came out, it was initially kind of looked at as maybe it was like a little rebellion like thing. I wasn't obviously I was much into my adulthood, if you will, but it was still kind of seen as this like, oh, this is just a rebellion, and maybe it's just a phase, it's a thing. And then from there, it just kind of escalated. It escalated in many different ways. So my family, like, they listened for a little bit, then they tried to ask why they wanted to, push some of the other, wanted to make sure that they pushed their side, so that I am really thinking about it, wanted me to read some books from, apologists and things, which I had ended up reading later, but at the time, I was learning so much more about the other side of things that I really didn't have an interest in necessarily reading the materials they gave me, but I did have an interest in talking with my family about it. The biggest problem was they didn't really want to talk back. It's still really hard for folks that were still ingrained or, still a believer of faith, I guess you could say. And they kind of struggled with it for a little while. It really became a big problem, if you will, when I'm just going to change this to randomize. Yep, and we're going to go with that one. It really became a big issue when my little brother was outed at his church for being gay, and then ousted. So from outed to ousted, and he was a prominent youth pastor. He had been he'd been with the youth group for a while. Like, there's never been an issue with him. There was, he's not a different person once they found out. But unfortunately, the joys of Christian love, they ended up kicking him out, and he ended up not going back to that church. And that was probably the biggest explosion point in my journey through atheism. Is I ended up getting really, really upset by the way that the church acted. I got really, really upset by the way that my family acted and the way that they responded to how the community treated their own kid. Not to mention, because of their religious upbringing and the indoctrination, the way that like they really struggled with being okay with having a gay son, let alone they were having an atheist son as well. So an atheist and then a gay son. So coming from various different directions in terms of their faith. And it was I got really mad again. You can see some of these podcast episodes, my Prophetcast podcast from goodness a long time ago. That you'll see where my anger actually comes out, where I get really, really upset because of how he was being treated and how he's being talked about. And like, he was the exact same person. Not to mention, I'm hitting things. Not to mention that this wasn't like a surprise. It's not like we didn't know that my little brother was gay. Like, we knew he was gay and very different than the other kids from like 5 years old. It was very, very obvious. And so it was just frustrating to see that's how other people treated him when the official word came out. And so that was some of the times that really kind of pissed me off. However, now it's changed a bit. Now it's my family they don't. Well, I mean, they pretty much accepted that I'm not down with faith anymore, and that's not really a thing that we try to discuss too much. Even though I try my best to have conversations with them, and it does still affect their lives. They're making decisions based on it. But for me, that aspect, like I said, we are where we are. I'm hoping that maybe we continue to have more conversations. How has my opinions and relationship changed in a sense? And good question. So it's changed a bit. Interestingly enough, so the thing that's changed about it is I see them. I know, right? Perfect segue. And well timed. I don't necessarily look. I don't look down on them. I don't think that they're bad, horrible, awful people. I think that if anything, I guess I feel a little bad that they're indoctrinated. It changed in the sense of like, I can see now that I can kind of the cloud's been lifted or whatever you want to say. I can kind of see that just how much that influences their decisions, and just how much the fear of letting go and realizing that you have this one life, or at least you're not controlled by some magical sky daddy, like that kind of I guess I just seeing them make decisions based on that. It's really upsetting. Upsetting in the sense of that, it sucks that I see these folks still indoctrinated. However, I still love them. I still will stand by their side. I still fight for them, and I'll fight for the right to believe what they want to believe. I don't think less of them. I certainly don't think that they're it speaks to their intelligence or anything of that nature. But it's just sad. They came from a different time. There's a lot of information out there, but fear is usually one of those things that holds people back from pushing forward and working through something that they hold dear. And I think that for me, I think it's important to kind of challenge those fears and challenge those what you consider norms to really make sure that you know and understand, and can just make sure you're taking in new information and feedback. But again, that's kind of the one big thing that gets me with my family is they still make decisions. They still say some of the old phrases, and that kind of thing. So it's interesting. It's interesting. How does it affect me raising kids? Who said I have kids? I do have kids. Of course I have kids. This water's gone. So interesting enough, and actually with Blue was here earlier chatting with us. He mentioned that Blue is going to be leaving the 8th grade into 9th and was non-religious, and grew up in a non-religious household. That's what my kids are growing up in, is a non-religious household, with the openness, of course, of having conversations and talking about religion and pointing out when religion does influence, as we can clearly see as it is right now, policies and things like it shouldn't, as it should stay inside his church and have no bearing in our government. But right now you can see that it is, of course, reaching in like it does. And so we want to make that very clear. We kind of talk about that kind of stuff with my kids, with our kids, I suppose you could say. And so we basically just kind of grow up with, like, we've been raising them, to be understanding that other people have different beliefs, but also to not let these people stand up and push them around, because that's what's been happening for 100 years. If you were a non-believer, you were always seen as the lesser, and you get to push down, and because the religious right and all that kind of stuff. I felt it a lot as I came out. It was really kind of frustrating. So right now we just kind of teach them, to be good people. Believe it or not, we don't need a book or some magical sky daddy to tell us how to be good people. We can figure it out based on how we want to live in a community, and what kind of rights we want, and how we'd want to live, and how others want to live, and we listen to how others want to live, and try to adapt based on the world that we're in right now, because that's essentially the best thing that you could do, is live and adapt. I think that it's for me, and again, for me, the biggest thing is that my kids are not running around with this fear of hell, this fear of being burned for all eternity just because they did something wrong, or they made a mistake, or they didn't know better. That to me, I feel like it's just a huge weight lifted off the kids and off of me. I don't feel the same way. I don't feel like I've got to be overly protective and make sure they're following this magical sky book, or this magical book, right? For me, it helps a lot, I think, and it lets me make decisions and adapt and change to do the right thing rather than do what the book tells me to do, right? So beat your children with rods, things of that nature. You know, that kind of stuff. Nah, I'm good. I find that does not very helpful kind of stuff. So that's definitely helped a lot as well. And also, again, kind of being a little bit more educated in more than just one religion, more than just the Christianity and the Bible, if you will. I've read the Bhagavad Gita from the Hindu religion. I've read the Book of Mormon. I've read the Quran. And of course the Bibles. So I try to go out and educate myself, which relays back to our kids. So it gives them an opportunity to have questions, as well as to kind of help them figure out what kind of questions to ask, so that they can get good information. Again, not to trap, not to trick, but just so that you can start to get that understanding, and so you can try to have that dialogue. Yeah, great questions, man. Great questions, man. Love it. All right. Yeah. How's the music? How's the chill? How's the vibes? The chill? Just hanging as the music, right? Just thought to make sure it's a nice, comfortable atmosphere. How about you folks? Anybody want to share a story about about either or how you raise your kids, if you are religious or non-religious? Just curious. I'm gonna fill this water up again real quick, so you can just see the room. 1 second. All right, I have returned. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for waiting. We're back now here at KGRTW. Soft, chill music, lo-fi for the people. Just kidding. Oh, goodness. So what games am I playing right now? Phenomenal question. So I currently am playing Diablo 4. That's one of the main games that I've been finding my way through. Outside of that, in terms of, I've been playing a little bit of VR, so I've been playing Zenith. Played Zenith when it first came out, and it's drastically different than what it was when it first came out versus now. Now it feels like a much more kind of like polished game. Has some short tutorials and some story and some cutscenes and things like that. So I really like that. That's pretty cool. It gives me a better understanding of what I'm doing in that game. Outside of that, I've been actually looking at Star Citizen. I'm not playing it yet, but I've been looking at it. It's like 10 years in alpha or something like that. I don't know. That piece is a little bit nerve-wracking, but it's a space exploration game to where you can you fly around to different planets, right? You can go explore. It's just like the kind of the first person shooter kind of view. You can get different ships. There's pirates and I don't know. There's all sorts of things about it's kind of just that like being like a space sandbox kind of game, and that seems really fun, to be honest. I really kind of want to play something like that will that allows me to kind of explore. The wild part about some of this, though, is that some of the because of the I'm going to say like the realistic, but the relatively realistic travel of how far away something might be. Sometimes it takes a while, 5-10 minutes to light speed, fly over to the other side of a galaxy. And so that I think would be kind of interesting of like, there's that literal downtime. I'm pretty sure you can like run around your ship while that's happening. So you can, I don't know if you can like craft or do something of that nature. But that game looks really, really fun, really, really interesting. In the same vein, Starfield is just, it sounds very similar. I don't think it's out yet. I think Starfield is coming out, maybe? I don't know. That's another game that I'm looking at. Let's see, Starfield. Comes out September 6, 2023. So in just a few months. That game also looks similar. That'll be kind of fun. So those are like some games that I'm looking forward to. Like some of the games I'm playing outside of the games I'm playing there. I mean, there's like TFT, Teamfight Tactics. That's pretty fun. That I play from time to time, but not very often. Valorant is another game that I have been playing. Getting another first-person shooter. That's been kind of fun. It's got superpowers. If you haven't played Valorant, pretty dope. Yeah, so that's kind of the world that I've been in right now and playing around in. So, yeah. Oh, you know what I can do? Look at this chat box. I can move that over. Perfect. Nailed it. Okay, so. How about you? What games are you folks playing right now? Also, if you have any questions, by all means, ask away. Happy to answer. I wonder if I should. You know? So yeah, those are some of the games I'm playing right now. Like some of the things that I'm doing. Yeah, I'm kind of curious. So anybody in the chat that again, if you have any questions, by all means, ask away. Yeah. I think that's probably a good idea, to be honest with you. I had a good maybe 6 or 7 folks that were hanging out with us for a little while. Kind of curious to see what we were doing, but yeah, right now I think that maybe maybe this is a more evening-based chat because I find that more adults tend to have questions about this particular topic than I think that than the youth do. Interestingly enough, and I mean it makes sense in some to me. I think that this, I mean, there's so many more things to think about than religion. So many more important things that we can focus on and do to help each other as a community rather than focusing on giving things to a magical sky daddy like I mentioned before. So yeah, I think maybe what I'll do there is I think I'll do that. I mean, we were going for a good 40 minutes, so a good little 40 minutes chat. Had some good stuff in there. I think I will go ahead and yeah, I think I might go to the ending here. Let's see. I'm gonna try 2 things here. So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna flip this over. I'm gonna pause that music real quick. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Thanks for those questions. Thanks Min, Whip, Blue Cheese, Shaker, all you folks that are hanging out with us. Kate, thanks for jumping in and hanging out and asking questions. I'll be back a little bit later for another AMA for something that's a little bit more. So let's just see how this goes. I'm just going to go into this, and then we're gonna switch over to. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Make sure you check me out on my socials. Check me out on TikTok. Check me out on Twitch. Kick. Just simply search for Djinnx. Search for Djinnx. DJINNX. Search for Djinnx. That's me. And thanks everybody. Have a great day. And don't forget to love each other. Bye.